responding to Reddit. Reddit is a great place where there's lots of questions, lots of information, and I came across the other day a post by Green Owl 90 that was asking, how do you lead when you're struggling yourself? And now this is one of the biggest challenges that leaders face, because there's this connotation that leaders are meant to be invincible. We're not meant to struggle with anything. We're meant to be invincible, right? But that's just not true. We're human too. We make mistakes. And I think this is one of the biggest challenges that leaders face, is what do we do when we're struggling ourselves? Well, I just recently recorded a bunch of videos about this. That's why I thought, let's go a little bit deeper into some of the things we can do while we are struggling as leaders. The first bit of advice I have to any leader that is struggling, that is going through their own challenges, is number one, is be vulnerable. That's right. You have to be vulnerable, not pretend to be invincible. The people we're leading, they can see through the fake, right? They can see through the facade. They can see through anything that the wall that you're trying to put up, and it just distances yourself from them. We always need to be vulnerable and honest about what we're going through with the people that we lead. Now, does that mean we have a therapy session with the people that we lead? No, not at all. The key to being a good leader is, yes, be vulnerable with them, but don't have a therapy session. What that means is be honest with the situation you're going through, share it with them, let them know the reality of, hey, I'm a little distracted right now because of this, or I might be a little short because of this, or I'm going through these challenges right now. You don't even need to tell them what challenges you're facing. You can just say, hey, facing some challenges in my personal life. I'm going to keep charging you in this project or whatever it is that you're leading. I just need a little bit of extra support, right? We need to be careful with who we are vulnerable to and how vulnerable we are to people. We need to look at where are people in our sphere to know how vulnerable we are. Those people we're leading, we can share with them, hey, I'm not doing too good right now, or I'm facing this challenge, but don't worry about me, or whatever, right? You can be vulnerable to them and show them that you are human and that you're having challenges, but you don't need to share with them and have a D&M and go, oh, this terrible person did this to me, or my ex did this to me, or whatever. You don't have to go that deep. But there are some people that you have to be super vulnerable with, but only a few. We as leaders tend to isolate ourselves, that we're trying to impress the people we're leading, we're trying to impress the people that are above us, and then we become in this cocoon, right? In this bubble where we can't be vulnerable with anyone. It is really important for us as leaders to have a good support network around us. One or two people that we can express our deepest, darkest fears with, our baddest thoughts, our biggest struggles. We can actually be completely vulnerable with them. We need that outlet. We need to outlet that to someone, but not to our team. But we need to be vulnerable with our team and let them know, hey, I'm facing these challenges. And actually, this is probably a good teaching moment for you as a leader, that you can lead those people and teach the people that you're leading on how to handle challenges, how to deal with personal challenges and not allow it to affect your work. Because your team will also be facing their own challenges, and they'll see how you handle it, and they'll be able to learn along the way. You know what? But we make mistakes. And the key thing is we need to make sure that, yes, even if we're struggling ourselves, we don't take that out on our team. I made this mistake the other day. I was having a really bad day of personal challenges. My ex was at me. There was lots of other things going on at the time, and I was facing a lot of challenges, and I just didn't have any patience that day. And so one of my team members wasn't following the process that we had described, we'd set forth, and kept on me about something that was completely irrelevant, something that we discussed a month ago that didn't even need time, and he just kept all day just messaging me like, oh, what about this, and what about that, and can we do this? And I just snapped. I'm just like, look, keep your eyes on the task. This is what we're meant to be doing. This is what we're not meant to be doing. And I kind of put him back into his place. But I know I did it a little bit too aggressively. So at the end of the day, I had this time when I had a time to stop. I sat back and went, well, hold on a second. That I wasn't being a good leader in that moment. I was expressing my frustration I was outletting my frustration onto him. So I just sent him a quick voice note and just said, hey, sorry, I appreciate what you do. I'm still frustrated that you were doing something you weren't meant to be doing. However, I shouldn't have been so aggressive with my feedback to you. I'm going through some personal challenges right now. My emotional patience is just at a minimum, so I'm sorry that I took it out on you. And that's really key to be able to build true relationships with the people that you're leading. When you're struggling, let them know when you made mistakes. It's okay. We need to admit when we make mistakes because that's when our team can trust us. You know what, on this Reddit post, there was a response by Crazy Hillbilly. And his response was, and I love this, the first thing he said was, "You're not that important." And I just, that jumped out at me because I'm like, well, you know what, like, there's a lot of other really good advice we can have that's kind of stock standard. But this is something that really hit home for me, is that we as leaders put too much importance and value on ourselves. But trust me, you're not that important. If you're struggling, trust me, your team can handle this without you. Your team should be able to do this without you, even if you're having a bad day or whatever. You're not that important. And if you are, you have done a bad job as a leader. Because as a leader, we shouldn't have everything rely on us. We should have set up the systems, set up the processes, set up everything to be able to execute on it themselves so that we aren't that important. I think that's the greatest thing about having a team is my team. I was going to court recently. I had an operation. I was sick. I was injured. Whatever happened, and you're out for a day, for 2 days, for 5 days, for a couple of weeks or whatever. Every time that I'm out of action, my business still flows because I have set up everything in my business to not rely on me. Now, yeah, of course, I'm involved in everything and I oversee everything. I review things, I'm on top of things, but my team are able to operate 100% without me. Most leaders have the business up in their heads. Most leaders lead from what's in here rather than taking it out, creating systems and processes so that our team can follow those systems and processes. When you've set up those systems and processes, you're not that important. That's the key of leadership. Another key thing to look at when you feel like you're struggling as a leader is you need to be sure what are your KPIs. Because I guarantee as a leader, you're taking on a lot more responsibility, a lot more ownership of things that you could let go of. Yes, in a normal everyday, take on everything, charge forward, like take over the world. That's great. But as a leader, if you're struggling, your capacity is reduced. So you also need to reduce your output. What do we reduce that output? Just to what the KPIs are. You need to step back and go, okay, what is my purpose? What is the key outcome here? What are the key things we need to achieve? And we just need to focus on that. It's almost looking at it like a minimal viable product. I developed a mobile application and software, and one of the key things I learned in developing that, everyone was telling me, yes, you can dream for the world, that's awesome, but what is the minimal viable product? We just need to get something out first. And that, as a leader, while you're struggling, you need to step back and just go, what's the minimal viable product I need to produce, my team needs to produce, or I need to deliver as a leader so that my team can keep moving forward, the project can keep moving forward, the organization can keep moving forward. We can hit those key KPIs, but it doesn't consume everything because I don't have everything to give right now. Another key thing to focus on as a leader while you're struggling is you must trust your team. Your team are better than you think you can. In every organization that I've consulted for, when the leader has gone away for any significant amount of time, they've always stressed, they've always worried, what's the business going to be like when I leave? What's going to happen? What's the team going to do if I take this time away? Every single time the department, the organization, the project, whatever it is they're working on that they were leading, every single time that the leader stepped away for something purposeful, the team actually stepped up and delivered a better product every single time. So you as a leader must trust your team, especially when you're struggling. Trust them that if you need to step back just a little bit, that they will take control, that they will actually step up. I guarantee you that you are limiting the performance of your team because you have too much control. If you just step back a little bit, they will perform better. And so as a leader, if you're struggling, remember, be vulnerable. Be vulnerable to the right people. Have a support network around you. Make sure that you understand that you're not that important. Set up systems, processes, trust your team. Produce the minimal viable product. Step back and focus on the KPIs and what your key purpose is in the organization, in the project, in the team. And then you will still be able to be successful while struggling.